Hi, everybody. Are we giving it a few minutes for people to trickle in?
Yeah, let's do that.
How is everybody this evening? For those of you that are already here, my name is Annie Bingham and I'll be the MC of tonight's event. I just wanted to go over a little bit of Zoom etiquette. I'll probably repeat this, but if you're not speaking or presenting, if you could just keep yourself on mute, it would be much appreciated. All right, so did everybody receive, you can just type into the chat box, did everyone receive the program for tonight? Yes, yes. All right, so some yeses, one no. Okay, so again, yeah, it should have been in the email. It should have been in the email, and along with it, there was the link for the auction and the website. So just a couple of things in addition to making sure to keep yourselves muted. We do have two people on tonight who are CYP's fundraising team who can help you with any issues you might be having. Their names are Leah, I think Leah or Leah, and then Mariah. If you both want to just say hello to everyone. Cool. So any issues you might have loading the web page, loading the auction, you can defer to them. So yeah, any support you need about that. I think we're going to begin tonight's event by doing a grounding exercise. Sylvia Hamilton Baker, who's one of the board members for CYP, is going to be leading us through a brief grounding meditation. So Sylvia, if you're ready, take it away.
Thank you, Annie. I am. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fundraiser for CYP. I'd just like for us to begin gathering ourselves together for this momentous event on this beginning to be chilly night. So I invite you to get grounded and stable in your seat. And maybe just take in visually your space that you're in. Maybe it's a room that you've not been in before, so it might be new, the energy might be different. Or maybe it's a room that you practice in all the time, or you do work in, or it's a family room. But just visually take it in, maybe looking over each shoulder. And then I invite you to bring yourself back to center. Feel stable in your seat. Notice your breath. Without changing anything right at this moment, just notice how your breath is coming through to you. Are you breathing in the belly? Are you breathing in the upper chest? Take a moment to feel what emotion is coming up for you. Maybe it's a little bit of fatigue. It's Friday. Maybe you're feeling energetic. It's Friday. Maybe you are a little frazzled. Maybe you're calm. Just tap into whatever that is. Acknowledge it, greet it, and let it go. I invite you in that space of silence and quiet to rejoin me back for this wonderful event. So take a good grounding seat, remain in that seat, and be ready to be enthralled and entertained and possibly to learn something new. I invite you to come back into the room and gather with us. Namaste, and thank you.
Sylvia can pick up her phone.
Yeah, but Debbie, I was like really rushing. Oh, look at that art.
That's nice.
Thank you for that, Sylvia. So this is a work of art by Katie Melendez. It is entitled Finding Ground. Katie created this painting in 2016 as a response to a psychiatric break. She was in art school and then turned to yoga and meditation and Tibetan Buddhism. This is a painting in a series of 3 that she did from that period of time in her life.
I was standing barefoot in the streets of Manhattan, feeling a pulse of energy I had never experienced before and downloading insights and spirituality that I had never contemplated before. I had to leave school, and my parents debated sending me back to the hospital, but then chose to bring me home instead, which I'm really grateful for. That's when I painted this series. I used yoga, which has been like a mother to me, to hold me through all my pain, confusion, and chaos. I'm 25 now. I'm forever changed by that moment in my life and looking ahead to a really bright future. Art to me is a way of transmuting the darkness. After you've sat long enough in it to understand it, only then can you create something beautiful from it. The artist is a visionary, constantly shedding light on the unseen or the overlooked in hopes for a better tomorrow. I think art was always intended to create connection and inspire unity, much the same as yoga. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're going through a hard time, just keep on keeping on. Believe in yourself. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Hold yourself, much the same as you can see in this self-portrait of myself in a yoga pose in this painting. You deserve all the love in the world. Many blessings. Namaste.
Beautiful. So thank you again to Sylvia for that grounding meditation and to Katie Melendez for that beautiful opening video. It's been quite a year, folks, and with everything that's going on, we definitely need as much mindfulness and grounding as possible. So thank you for being here and welcome to CYP's 2nd annual fundraiser, the first one that is being held over Zoom. We're so grateful to our sponsors, to everyone who brought tickets. As many of you already know, CYP was founded over 5 years ago by Elisha Simpson. We're a 501c nonprofit offering trauma-informed yoga, mindfulness, meditation, and art expression classes throughout Westchester County and the Hudson Valley. All proceeds from the auction tonight are going to go towards helping us continue our efforts and offer these classes. So as part of your ticket, you should have received a link to the online auction that we're having this evening, where you can find listed all of the things that are up for bid. Again, if you have any issues with that, you can contact Leah or Mariah in the chat box, and they will assist you with any issues. The auction will close at 8:15 p.m., and I will give everyone a reminder of when we're getting close to that time. But I invite you to check out the auction now if you haven't already, and just see what there is. There's a lot of artwork for sale, a lot of which we're going to be viewing tonight. And we'll get to hear from some of the presenters and artists and lyricists this evening. So you can also just donate directly to the Crossover Yoga Project by going to the website. You can also check out the shop where you can purchase t-shirts, tank tops, and tote bags. So on that note, we have with us here tonight our CYP staff teachers, myself included. My name is Annie Bingaman. I'm a registered yoga teacher. I've been affiliated with CYP for a little bit over 3 years now. We also have our other trauma-informed yoga teachers with us, Anna Moore. If you all just want to say hi as I say your name, feel free, either in the chat box or you can unmute yourselves. Christina Saar.
Hi.
We have Deb Taylor, who is a registered yoga teacher and a Reiki master.
Oh, Deb's with me. Sylvia.
And of course, we have Elisha Fernandes Simpson, our founder and director and yoga teacher.
Hey there.
So we also have with us our board of directors this evening, Selena Urbina, who is our CYP secretary. Hello, Selena. We have Gina Ting Callender. We have Sylvia Hamilton Baker, who guided us through that wonderful opening meditation.
Hi, everybody.
Renee Fogarty.
Hello.
Hi, Renee.
Hi.
We have Sarah Knox.
Hello. Nice to see everyone. Thanks for being here.
And lastly, we have Sarah Walsh. So on that note, thank you all for being here, all of our staff and our board members, and thank you again to everyone who bought tickets. On that note, we're going to introduce our first speaker of the evening, who is Michael Orth. Michael Orth is the Commissioner of the Westchester County Department of Community Mental Health. He has worked in the human services sector for over 30 years. The department, which is a branch of county government, is responsible for planning, oversight, education, and coordination of services and supports for individuals and their families who have mental illness, developmental disabilities, and substance use challenges. A proponent of mental health, Michael leads several planning efforts throughout Westchester County. Michael, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be with everyone this evening. I was with you guys last year and we had a really nice time. And although it's virtual, it's still nice to feel connected with all of you, even if it's virtual. I send greetings on behalf of County Executive George Latimer and our Department of Community Mental Health. And I welcome and thank all of you for your efforts in promoting mental health and emotional wellness for Westchester residents and prioritizing it. As you mentioned, Department of Community Mental Health is a branch of county government, but we cannot do this work without partnerships like Crossover Yoga Project. So thank you, Alicia. Thank you, your team and the board for all you do these past several years. And we look forward to many more years. Many of us already know that mental health has been a public health crisis even before COVID-19. We've seen an increase in suicides, in overdoses, in people struggling with mental illness. And Westchester has unfortunately not been immune to this issue. With COVID-19, we kind of came into the spotlight and it impacted all of our mental health. I think one of the things, it's sort of a ripple effect with COVID-19. Unfortunately, there's the virus itself, the uncertainty, not having a vaccine, and unfortunately death. And in Westchester County, we lost 1,456 residents to COVID, and also 220 children lost their parent or caretaker with COVID-19, just alone in Westchester. And then there's the secondary response, food insecurities, eviction, uncertainty, remote schooling, loss of jobs, childcare, isolation, and then finally, the triple impact, our mental health and mental wellness. And that includes increases in overdose, unfortunately suicide, depression, anxiety, and substance misuse. In Westchester, we clearly have an impact as well. And that's what makes tonight so important, or even more important than previous years. As the first World Health Director said, without mental health, there can truly be no physical health. And it validates the work that you guys do, the importance of mindfulness, the importance of every one of us being able to feel safe, connected, and the ability to self-regulate. And when I first met Alicia and learned about the program, that's exactly what your program and what you do is about. It helps young people, it helps elderly people, people who've experienced trauma, feel safe, feel regulated, and give them the skills and the self-awareness to be the best person they can possibly be. And we're excited that finally mindfulness, yoga has become sort of mainstream within mental health. Part of what I've been working on, and Dr. Andy Bell from our office, is to try to find ways of promoting it through funding, through making it a common intervention within emotional wellness. And the work you guys are doing is so cutting edge. Crossover Yoga has worked with Department of Social Services, corrections, with our young people, and with our communities. And we're so indebted for the work that you do. And Alicia, the team, the board, we hope for continued partnership, and anything we can do to promote and support the important work you're doing, we're there for you. So thank you, and enjoy the evening, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks for being here and for your words. Next up, we have the Mayor of Mount Vernon, Sean Patterson Howard. Mayor Patterson Howard has served in the nonprofit and governmental sectors for the past 25 years. She is the first female mayor in the history in the city of Mount Vernon, and the first woman of color elected mayor in all of Westchester County. Much of her work has been groundbreaking and has been centered around criminal justice, education, public health, and urban development. A true trailblazer in her field, Mayor Patterson Howard is a proponent of strengthening local communities. Mayor Patterson Howard, welcome.
Hello, ladies. This is Mayor Sean Patterson Howard of Mount Vernon. I just wanted to reach out to you and say that your past does not have to determine your future. I'm so grateful that you are participating in this incredible yoga program, the Crossover Yoga program, because you are crossing over from what you've been through to where you're destined to go. I want to make sure that you're utilizing all of these tools that you're being given to believe in yourself, to understand that you've been knocked down, but you haven't been knocked out, that it's time to get up. We want to make sure that you understand the power of resiliency. And resiliency is just that sometimes we go through things in life. I know I did. As a teenager, I was a hot mess and I went through a lot. But I had people around me who cared about me enough, who helped me to find my voice, who helped me to build the skills that I needed to seek a positive future. And so today I just reach back and I really want to encourage you to take advantage of those who are around you, those who believe in you, even sometimes when you don't believe in yourself, to trust that regardless of what you've been through, that your future can be whatever you choose for it to be. Yes, we've been knocked down. We've had to catch our breath. We've had to cry some tears. We've had to pray, but all of that makes you stronger and will help you be an expert at helping young ladies who come behind you. So enjoy your program, find your voice, take advantage of everything that's been given to you, and get on out there and do the daggone thing. Take care, ladies, and have a great day. Be well.
Awesome. Thank you to Mayor Patterson Howard for that video and for what she shared, how your past does not have to determine your future. I love that. So next up, we have a video on some crossover yoga project agreements.
Establishing connection. A video featuring CYP's I Believe in Me trauma conscious classes. Every class begins with exploring ways for each participant to gain a sense of comfort and inclusion. as we work together to create agreements to find ways we can support each other in the time spent together in group. Each participant is offered a petal of a flower to write on, and we create a centerpiece, which is a flower that we refer to throughout the class, reminding us what we agreed upon, how we can support one another, and how important it is to have each of our voices heard. With the over 4,500 youth that CYP has offered programs to, protecting their identity is paramount. I would like to thank the CYP team interns and volunteers who helped create these short videos that we'll be offering throughout the fundraiser, and the village of Ossining for the beautiful stage in the background setting along the river that helped demonstrate the elements of CYP's trauma-conscious class curriculum, I Believe in Me. CYP's mission has empowered people involved in child welfare and the criminal justice system through a curriculum of trauma-informed yoga, mindfulness, creative art expressions, and restorative justice to build skills of self-awareness, self-regulation, and resilience. And it all starts with coming to agreements and making connection.
Great. So that's just a little taste of the kind of connection that we facilitate as part of CYP's curriculum. So next, as part of our efforts and the emphasis on creative art expression, we will be highlighting the work of several talented artists affiliated with the Crossover Yoga Project. The following presenters will be exhibiting their artwork, digital media, and poetry readings. First, we have Leah Ansell, who will be presenting her painting titled Boy with Glasses.
Hi, it's Leah for Crossover Yoga Project, and I'm here to talk about my piece, Boy with Glasses. So art for me has always been kind of a platform for self-discovery, trying things out, and being experimental. As a high schooler, I had such a rough time with academics. Like, it was such a struggle. I would never imagine myself in grad school now actually going to get my master's in teaching. I felt like art was always such an important thing for me to be involved with, whether it's seeing the work of other artists, reading about art, learning about art, even just watching other artists be able to create and put things out into the world. It just opens a whole kind of passage for discussion and connection with other people. So I always valued that. I feel like art is the one hobby that anyone can do, anyone can appreciate, no matter what level you're at with it. You can always grow and always learn from other people. So I feel like that is a really special thing art can do. And mostly just its healing properties. I had a lot of anxiety growing up and being in a school with a lot of stressful academics and just really competing to get into colleges, the worry about like, oh, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? Like, how can I be the best that I can be doing what I want to do? So I just started to embark on my journey of doing art, and I never thought I would get this far and end up going to college for art. But even if you don't go to college for art, it's something I think every person is so capable of doing, and there should be no judgments. Like, art is for you, what you want to put out in the universe, how you heal yourself. It doesn't have to be like good or bad. I feel like the judgment people put on it says more about them than you. You should create art for yourself, whether you show it to anyone, whether you're an artist that has a lot of exhibitions and showcases. it's just really important for you to do for yourself. In 2016, I was in college and I met this boy from another college, and we actually were in a competitive a cappella event, and I got really friendly with him. And I have a thing where I always ask people to paint them. Like, I like the idea that I know all the people that I paint. So for me, it's kind of a way to get to know someone interesting and like get to exchange my background and theirs, what they're studying, what's important to them. Unfortunately, that friend passed away a while ago after I graduated. So I kind of always hold on to that painting as a reminder, like, he put out so much good into the world, and no matter what, even if he's gone, like, I still kind of get to hold on to that piece of him. A lot of dealing with a trauma or something upsetting or disruptive in your life, I feel, is being able to express it. Like, I'm the kind of person who sometimes I'll really like to engage with other people and talk about things I'm going through and how they affected me. And other times I kind of just like to listen to what other people have to say. And that's my way of participating with them. So I feel like art kind of creates that open window where it becomes a safe space for you to be able to discuss what's important to you, and for other people to kind of see that you're someone who is able to respond to them in a sensitive and like validating way. Like, I get it, it's scary to put art out there. Like, I forgot who said this really awesome quote, but like, art is a completed past. You just don't throw it out there. Someone has to catch it. That really stuck with me, like, for all these years, because art is a completed past. Like, whatever you see in someone else's work is unique, and like, it affects you in a way that only like you can experience. So that's what I really appreciate and enjoy about art. So whether you do it, you don't do it, you enjoy looking at art, hearing about art, I just think it's something that, hey, give it a try. And if it's not for you, then at least you gave it a shot. So thank you.
Thank you, Leah, for your honest and candid words, sharing your experience and your creative process. We totally appreciate it. Next, we have Edie Garland, who will be telling us about her piece of work titled Sham and His Shame. Edie is a 19-year-old artist, writer, and cosmetologist.
When I make canvases, I never plan, and therefore never know how it's going to turn out. However, the mistakes I make oftentimes create an even better result than I could have hoped for. I don't have a studio, I don't have a store. This is all just for me, my way. My rat is a recurring character in many of my pieces. A very social creature, simultaneously very timid, is a pretty good representation of me. Cute, but an acquired taste. In this piece specifically, I was inspired by the Snow White scene where she's lost in the woods and crumples in the face of fear, with eyes all around her. When I made this in March, I often felt like her. I was at a crossroads in my life. Either I let the cycles of trauma response destroy my life forever, or I grab the reins and break those cycles. Every day now I choose life, even if I don't want to. I was always so angry at the world, at others for quote-unquote making me like this. But now it's all in my hands. Even if the world is still big and scary, I'm not the little creature I was labeling myself as.
Great, thanks so much to Edie. So we're a little bit over a third of the way through our fundraiser for this evening. If you haven't checked out the auction site, I invite you to do that. Again, if you're having any issues, just type them into the chat box on the right-hand side of your Zoom. So next up, we have the lyrics of Taylor Depold, who will be offering us a live poetry reading. Taylor is a yoga teacher incorporating movement and breath work, as well as massage therapy into her work. Taylor, welcome.
Hi, it's really good to be here. I'm reading something I wrote when I was 16 in detox wing and drug rehabilitation. It's a piece that I continue to read, and it's an intense emotional experience to read it out loud. It still chokes me up because it feels like it was written in a different lifetime. And in a way, it was. I've chosen since then to create a different reality and to face many fears. I use yoga, and I've studied meditation and yoga academically, and it's validated the shift that I've experienced in my brain and in my body. When you lose the drugs, your dependents, your friends, you're empty, alone. It feels like the end. Whether you take it seriously or not, blowing coke or smoking pot, you're in the same spot as everyone else that surrounds you. You must realize that respecting yourself is the best thing you could do. It started with detox, aches and the pains. That's when I realized it wasn't a game. My mind was retained from my body. My body was detained from my soul. My soul was ashamed of my past and my guilt. It was creating a hole. My life as a whole was losing its worth. I couldn't assert the problems that were inserted in my dirt. And as the roots grew longer, my habits grew stronger. I couldn't control something they thought wouldn't harm her. Home was her water. Family was losing their daughter, but she needed them to prosper. Negative or positive, they always had to offer. As time passed, my spirit crashed. Morals smashed. Put myself in lower class. Coming from a family that seemed like a pain in the ass, who are also using Band-Aids to cover up their past, dependent on the drugs, but that didn't stop them from showing their unconditional love. I looked past that and solely blamed them for my lack of fun. Now I look and see it, all the hurt and destruction I have done. Fun? It isn't doing lines. When you get caught, now you're doing time for a crime you wouldn't have committed in the first place if you didn't smoke that bag of weed that was laced, that was wet. Something that didn't belong. Drug dealers, they don't give a shit. They're always strong, always have the power over you. Why? Because they have the drugs that you're about to do, that you're about to pay for. And for what? Your interests disappear and relationships go sour. So you can steal, cheat and lie, skip a meal, beat and die? That shouldn't fly, but you let it live on. I can't control my use even if all the drugs are gone. It's keeping me alive. I no longer want, I just need to survive. What about my dreams? What about my goals? Nothing's what it seems. My fire has turned to coals. Everything I had is lost. Opportunities I've tossed. Drugs were the boss of me. But now I'm learning how to be set free. Amongst the beauty God gave us, living on life's terms without a fuss. It's hard to change, but it's even harder to maintain and skip through the thoughts that are running through my brain that are driving me insane. There's a better way to live than standing in the rain. I wish I never began this race, going too fast, not keeping a steady pace, worrying about me being the best in a race where the finish line would end up being death. It's a funny thing about suffering. It can teach us a lot about what we do to feel something and to feel nothing. We can choose to create instead of deceive. Manifest a new story. All you need is to believe. So let go of the fear and identify with your strength. Let love be your leader. Walk tall to great lengths. Thank you.
Taylor, thank you for those verses. It was very powerful. Thank you for being so open about your experience. So now we will transition to Julia. Lucarelli, who is a CYP ambassador. She has recorded a video for us. She's a student from Briarcliff High School in Briarcliff Manor, New York. She is going to be giving us a little bit of a glimpse into CYP's I Believe in Me curriculum through her recorded video.
Teenagers just like my friends and me. They like ambassador at CYP. I am currently a senior at Briarcliff High School and an ambassador Girl Scout. I first learned about CYP and Elisha Simpson back when I was in early middle school at a Girl Scout holiday gift wrapping event. My group worked closely with Alicia to donate care packages for the girls that Alicia worked with. Through these acts of giving, I learned more about these girls, and aside from their difficult experiences, they just wanted to be normal teenagers just like my friends and me. They like lip balms and fuzzy socks, makeups and creams, t-shirts and flip-flops, and so much more. As time went on, I became more inspired by this organization, the work Alicia did, and time spent with these girls, and it made me want to do more on my own. These girls had suffered major traumatic experiences in their lives at such a young age, and I wanted to do something to help lift them up and try to help put a little smile on their faces and provide a bit of positivity in their lives if possible. I had a plan to create inspirational paintings and quotes and write positive letters to share with them. I personally reached out to Alicia to ask if she would be willing to work with me, and she thankfully agreed. This project started out quite small and turned into a passion project that I ended up submitting for my Girl Scout Silver Award, and Alicia mentored me through this whole process. I called this project Peace, Love, and Positivity. I wrote these notes, painted quotes, and even got my Girl Scout troop as well as family and friends to join in and help create these messages to share. I deliver them to Alicia frequently so that she could distribute them to the girls. I continue to do this today, and it's a really nice way for me to give back to others who need to be reminded of a little hope and sunshine. My fortunate upbringing in Westchester somewhat sheltered me from certain realities that were happening across the county that I live and grew up in. My relationship with Alicia and CYP has opened up my eyes and taught me about some harsh realities of the world that were affecting girls my age and even younger. It was a bit jarring at first, but the time I spent with Alicia and working with these various projects and events really impacted my views. Alicia's past connections to the Man Center enabled me to work face-to-face with some of these girls and allowed me to spread my positivity with a larger group. I wanted to do more to inspire in a different way. I know that I love to read, and when I am stressed or want to relax, I sometimes pick up a book and it can take me away. I wanted to try to share this feeling with these girls. I had plans to create a library and a comfy place for them just to relax. I ended up working with Alicia to craft these plans, and she introduced me to some amazing people at the Man Center, where she, through CYP, had previously worked with many of the girls there. I updated, decorated, and created a new space for the girls with books that I purchased from the money that I received from my Sweet 16, as well as those that I collected through a couple of book drives that I had organized. I also organized a small-scale book club with the girls where I picked a book and we read and discussed it together every week, and then we had a movie night at the end of the book with pizza and popcorn that my mom and I brought in for the girls. I believe that they enjoyed all of this, especially the movie night. This endeavor formed the basis of my Girl Scout Gold Award called A Novel Idea, and has inspired me to continue my work with CYP. As shared earlier, I am currently a senior in high school, and as you can all probably guess, I am in the midst of applying to college. One of my application essays asks me what gives me hope, and I can honestly and simply answer that people like Alicia and an organization like CYP is what gives me hope for the future. This organization is not only one that touches the lives of the girls that it was created for, but also for each and every person that touches the organization.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julia, for your continued efforts, for all you do for CYP. We're so happy to have you involved. So next, we are going to be watching a video on trauma conscious movement. So for those of you who have never seen a CYP class in action, this will probably give you some insight into the kind of classes CYP facilitates.
Trauma conscious movement. Movements within CYP's classes are paced, timed, and invite each participant to be curious about what they're feeling, thinking, and allowing to be integrated into all of their senses. Building an awareness to the sensations that arise in our bodies is one of the first steps towards empowerment. When we begin to recognize what comes up, we can begin to explore choices of how to react in certain situations. The core foundation of CYP's work is the gender-specific I Believe in Me curriculum, tailored to address the traumas that more commonly affect girls, including sexual abuse and sex trafficking. As research in neuroscience continues to grow in support of the yoga and mindfulness as an effective treatment in alleviating symptoms of traumatic and systemic stress, CYP's successful program has expanded to offer classes to all genders and ages, providing these tools for anybody affected by trauma that impact their daily living. When someone has a traumatic experience, it affects how they cope with the external stressors, and these include systemic oppression, racism, and trauma-related psychiatric issues. We now have a wealth of research that demonstrates this and how one's behavior is a direct result of coping with these adverse experiences. What we label as maladaptive behaviors may also be seen as misapplied survival skills. The postures CYPs share in trauma-conscious classes are exploratory. They provide support, a space of inquiry to address what arises, how someone reacts to a certain situation, and offer an opportunity to remain present in this moment. The mindfulness is another tool that we use. It helps overcome the habitual negative judgment about themselves. Ability to recognize clearly what they feel without being overwhelmed, and interpersonal effective tools that help them express beliefs and also set limits to help them negotiate solutions to problems. All of our classes take place within homeless shelters, youth detention facilities, residential treatment centers and facilities, alternative schools, and other locations where it may not be accessible. Our participants report that they sleep better, they gain more focus, manage their emotions better, trust themselves and others, and develop empathy. CYP's innovation lies in a unique combination of yoga and art as a complementary tool that intervenes meaningfully in trauma survivors' lives. CYP's program helps them gain skills and abilities to help them make sound life choices, healthy choices, have a positive body image, and also help them reach their goals. As a result, they learn to value themselves, understand how their own power can create change in their life.
Fantastic. So we're about halfway through the event, folks. If you're feeling inspired by some of the work that you've seen, some of the videos that have been shared, we invite you to visit the auction online. It will close in about half an hour. So if you have not donated, we invite you to donate what you're able to this evening. Next, we're going to be seeing Marissa Jones, who will be doing a live reading from her book, The Lotus Tattoo, One Woman's Grit from Bully to Redemption. It's a memoir chronicling her own resilience after having experienced abuse and domestic violence. Marissa is a writer passionate about trauma recovery and destigmatizing mental illness. Marissa, welcome.
Okay, sorry about that. Hey, thank you for having me here. I wrote this passage in my memoir after spending a lifetime dealing with mental illness issues based on my childhood abuse and trauma. And about 10 years ago, I had a mental breakdown because it just kind of caught up to me. And this is me kind of reevaluating what life is about. It's called Define Your Happiness. For me, happiness is a peaceful mind and spending time with my family. For others, and I was one of them, it's money, career, and material things. I recently read that many people, when they pray for themselves, usually say stuff like, please God, let me get that promotion. Please God, I need more money. Or please God, I want a new car. But when we pray for other people, it's usually that they be happy, healthy, and safe. It wasn't until I started focusing on those same prayers for myself and for others that I found happiness. The material things are unimportant. I'm grateful to have a house and food anytime I am hungry. I'm grateful to have a warm shower and a toilet. I'm grateful for a career I enjoy and a car that I drive. But those things are unimportant. Like my husband always says, I've never seen a U-Haul being pulled by a hearse. When my kids were younger, we would watch TV together, and some shows on Animal Planet or National Geographic would highlight a culture very different from ours. There would be families in third world countries living in huts or shacks with no running water or electricity and no easy access to food. I would provoke conversation with my kids and ask them questions such as, what do those kids have in common with you? Or what do those families have in common with us? We talk about their smiles and how they laughed and played jokes like we did. We would note that the kids were playing games with each other in the streets, even though none wore shoes and the streets were made of dirt. They did not have the same stresses over matters such as work or who was driving the kids to soccer, who took my favorite color crayon. They did not have what we considered basic necessities, yet they were happy. What is the meaning of happiness? For each of us, it's different, and many of us don't even know what happiness is for ourselves because we're too distracted moving through our lives like robots, adhering to a script given to us as children, the script that will give us our happily ever after. Look deep into yourself and define what happiness looks like for you. Knowing what that is will help you determine what your path might be to get there. My happiness is peace. Peace of mind and peace of body, positivity, and surrounding yourself with those things that maintain my peace. When you're depressed, you surround yourself with things and are detached from people. But when you're healthy, you're detached from stuff and want to show love to people around you. The older I get, the more I purge. Stuff takes up useless energy, cleaning, organizing, buying, selling, and thinking about it. So I purge what I'm tired of cleaning. I purge negativity, whether it's people, TV shows, the news, environments, objects that invoke negative thoughts, or even something as simple as a broken kitchen tool. Whatever this thing might be, if it annoys you every time you encounter it, it's creating a negative emotion that is useless and creates a negative effect on your mind and body. The same goes with people. If anyone stirs negativity in me, so I feel deflated, exhausted, or physically ill, I choose to no longer be around that person. Detach yourself from those things. Life is too short, so I surround myself with positive people and experiences. And the same goes for the reverse, since I hold myself to the same standards. How do I want to affect people today? I was once in a yoga class and our instructor asked, "What color is your paintbrush?" He described how each day when we walk out into the world, we should think of ourselves as a paintbrush dripping wet with paint. And everywhere we go, we leave that color because we're painting all around us. That morning, he told us that he had snapped at someone in the grocery store on his way to teach his class, and that person had snapped back at him. He realized then that his paintbrush was gray, and he knew he had to change colors before class. My paintbrush is not always bright yellow, which is my favorite color, but I try to keep it that way. And when I don't, I have my husband and kids to remind me. We all interact with each other, and one touch of gray paint by one person can affect dozens of people in a day. We pass on what we carry, whether that's anger, sadness, or happiness. Imagine what a world we could live in if we could all paint yellow every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa, for that eloquent reading. I'm sure we all have a lot to think about now. We're getting closer to 8 p.m. If everyone wants to maybe just take a few grounding breaths here, now that we're starting to transition to the final stretch. So finding that comfortable seat, if you're not already in one, maybe finding just a little length in your spine, fluttering the eyes closed even just for a few breaths. Letting the face be soft here, relaxing the neck and shoulders. And just taking maybe 3 or 4 deep grounding breaths. Breathing in through the nostrils and fully exhaling through the mouth. Just doing that at your own pace, maybe 2 or 3 more times. Finding length in the breath. And when you're ready, maybe bringing some subtle movement into the fingers or toes, just bringing yourself back into this space with all these wonderful people. Fluttering the eyes open when you're ready. So again, that was Marissa Jones. She was reading from her book, The Lotus Tattoo. Thanks again, Marissa. Now we're going to be viewing a recorded video from Imani Kauchi. She'll be showing us her work of art titled Different Shades of Beauty. Imani is a 21-year-old Manhattan-based artist currently working at the Bronx Community College.
The piece I created for this art show, believe it or not, it took me almost a year and some change to complete. Just to dive into kind of how long I've been doing art before I get into this. I've been an artist since I was born, I pretty much think. I have always enjoyed doing different mediums of art, such as singing, dancing, acting, visual art, painting, sketching. I've been doing it since I was young. I have indulged in art therapy a couple of times with a bunch of dope art therapists, and I've been involved in a bunch of art projects and groups with other young artists. And art for me is definitely a coping mechanism. It helps me escape just the current reality and what I'm going through. But not only that, it allows me to express myself, and I'm very creative, and I see art in everything, and it's not really hard for me to create. What sort of happens is I get in these depressions, and I have spells of just feeling really down and not confident about myself or my artistic capabilities. So I won't pick up a painting, or I won't finish a canvas for a while just because I don't feel inspired by my surroundings or by myself. And that's just kind of what I was feeling with this piece. It was supposed to be a Black History Month piece last year, and then I ended up not even nowhere near completing it within the month of February. So I decided, hey, maybe I should just give up on this piece. But little by little, I would just leave it in my windowsill, and I would just look at it, and I'd be like, listen, I gotta finish that. It can't just sit there and be in my windowsill this whole time. said, I just, I obviously go through my times of depression and dealing with that. It's hard. Everyone knows dealing with depression is hard, but you just don't feel motivated to do anything. You don't feel creative, and you don't feel like you want to dive back into your paintings or your projects. So doing different type of things, doing different type of art helps kind of circle me back to my original art. So yeah, maybe I wasn't doing that canvas that was in my windowsill, but I was doing different things with my friends and different things on my own that would always make me resort back to my original piece that I never finished, or whatever original pieces I never finished. And this piece, it really did also mean a lot to me. It was also about what the piece was about. And the piece for me was basically showing different shades of beauty. And, it shines light on a lot of different things, such as colorism. I myself am a part of the African American community, and being biracial and being a person of color who's on the lighter shade, I obviously understand the privilege that we have, but I really do I created this piece to shine light on all different shades of beauty, because everyone's beautiful, no matter what color you are, no matter how light you are, no matter how dark you are. And that's really what this piece was supposed to portray. It was supposed to portray different shades. Also, I was going to dive into like stereotypes and things of that nature, and that's why I had the word bubbles. But I really wanted to just keep it positive and not have a stereotype coming out of the word bubble. Because people are going to look at it and create stereotypes themselves. So I really just wanted to I wanted the piece to remain positive and to have a positive touch to it. So yeah, that's what my piece means to me. And I'm so honored to be able to present it to everyone and to be able to show my art. This is the first time I'm actually presenting a canvas painting in an art show and having it be auctioned off. So this really means a lot to me. I'm so blessed and grateful to have this opportunity. And just thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Amani. Thank you for sharing your story and for shining light on some of the beauty standards that exist and the emphasis on whiteness in our society. It's so prevalent right now to have these kinds of conversations. So we thank you. Next up, we have Mercedes Lillian George, who will be displaying her artwork through recorded video. Her piece is entitled Rose Owl Collection, and it also goes into her own journey through trauma recovery. One thing I want to mention, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning, if any of the speakers talk about or share their own experiences that are triggering for you, please feel free to pause the video or walk away entirely. Just wanted to offer that.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. My name is Mercedes, and I am the artist behind these pieces. I'm briefly going to go over how they started and some of the meanings. Well, they started as doodles of roses during an abusive relationship in my life. I couldn't focus, and for whatever reason, when I saw things, I saw other images besides what I was looking at. The owl came after my first abuse from him, and I was wondering, what did I do, and why was he so angry? After that first beating, he wanted to make love, and it felt more like rape. And the owl was a statue we got as a home warming gift. And I remember focusing on it to endure what was really happening to me at the time. And knowing that owl saw a lot of my hell on earth. So the owl became many things to describe my hurt and pain as well as joy. It was like a guardian to both worlds. The owl was like a witness as well as an advisor. And the rose is the yearning to be Rose, yearning to be a good person, yearning to be loved or acknowledged. And I did a lot of stuff with the feathers, and that really helped relieve a lot of stress.
Thank you for that. Mercedes, another really talented artist, so willing to talk about her own experience with trauma. So it's about 8:05 now. We have 10 more minutes for the auction. So again, the auction is closing at 8:15. If you have not checked out the website or any of the things that are up for bid, we invite you to do that now. We are now going to turn our attention to Ariana Perez, who is here live. She is a CYP participant and artist. She's 20 years old, and her works are entitled Emotional and In Solidarity We Rise. Ariana. Ariana, can you hear me? Okay, maybe Ariana is having some technical difficulties. We will move her to the end if she is available. Now we're going to go to our next presenter, who is Selena Urbina. She is CYP's board secretary, and she is here live as well, giving a talk. So welcome, Selena.
Good evening, everyone, and just many thanks for your engagement this evening in our Honoring Empowerment event. And we're so grateful for your participation, for your support, and especially for those of you who bravely shared your stories. I find myself very moved in this moment. As we begin to close out the program today, I just wanted to reiterate some of the things you already heard this evening. First and foremost, your support enables CYP to empower people in the child welfare and criminal justice system to build those critical skills of self-awareness, self-regulation, and reliance and resilience through the trauma-informed yoga, mindfulness, creative art expression, and restorative justice work that CYP does. CYP's gender-specific I Believe in Me curriculum forms the foundation of our work and is tailored to address traumas more commonly affecting girls, although certainly not restricted to them. Our teachers have extensive experience in trauma-informed restorative practices and provide tools to foster stability at a time where there seems to be none. Since CYP's incorporation in December of 2015, we have empowered over 4,500 teen girls. Our successful program has expanded to serve trauma survivors of all genders and ages as neuroscience continues to show that yoga and mindfulness are effective in alleviating the symptoms of traumatic stress. So on behalf of the board of the Crossover Yoga Project, our teachers, all the volunteers, all the brave men, women, girls, boys who have benefited from CYP's work. My heartfelt thanks for enabling us to continue this work into the future. Together, we can rise up against oppression and enable others to regain their power. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Selena, for those words. Hopefully this evening has helped to give folks some clarity over CYP's mission to empower young girls and women, and also those who are involved in the criminal justice system, and also those who have struggled with drug addiction, who live in group homes or in homeless shelters. We're truly committed to offering trauma-informed yoga and meditation and art expression, all as forms of healing from trauma. So we have 5 more minutes before the auction closes. I'm seeing in the chat box some of the bids are going up. If anyone wants to make any final donations or final bids on any of the items available, we invite you to do that now. And of course, you can always donate even after the auction ends, just directly on the CYP website. So we're going to try Ariana again to see if she is available to join us live. Ariana, if you're here, you have the floor.
Can everybody hear me? Can I just get a yes, no?
We hear you, Ariana.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Okay, so I am the creator of Mixed Emotions and In Solidarity We Rise. I originally worked with Alicia when I was in the Man Center, and I was there for about 2 years. And I absolutely hated the idea of getting out of my depressed room and going to work with Alicia. I was so devastated. I did not want to go. I was in a really dark place, and Alicia really helped me come out of my shell. And I was like 15 when I met her, and I am now 21. Yeah, and my inspiration behind these pieces were, I'm going to speak about the Mixed Emotions one first. The Mixed Emotions piece that I had was based on, if I can just, sorry about that, you guys. So the Mixed Emotions piece was pretty much the emotions that I had went through. My bio is in my notes, so this might be on pause for a second. I'm sorry, you guys. So okay, I'm just gonna read my artist statement. So growing up, I had a hard time filtering my emotions. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression by the age of 13 and PTSD at 15. These disorders caused me to feel everything at once or nothing at all. It also made me feel extremely tired, more than the average person. The colors I used in my piece represent my different emotions. Red for anger, green for envy, pale blue for peacefulness, purple for lust, yellow for happy, turquoise for obsessiveness, and dark purple for innocence. The white movements represent my obstacles that I went through to get where I am now. The evil eye I use as a small reference to me healing myself and keeping myself away from negative energy. I'm in a better place, and I choose to put my depression and anger into a small folder of cruddy emotions in the corner of my brain. I will not let it overcome me, and I will proceed to spread the love I have for my life and the people I care about and the beautiful souls I meet on the way to my destination. Emotions are what we make of it.
Thank you, Ariana. Thanks for being here and showing your artwork. Really beautiful stuff. So it is, according to my phone, 8:13. We have 2 minutes left for the auction. And our last and final speaker, without further ado, is the founder and executive director of the Crossover Yoga Project, Elisha Fernandes Simpson.
Thank you, Annie. I don't think I'm muted this time. I don't know if you can see me. Okay. So thanks everyone for coming tonight. I really do appreciate it. I've been trying to manipulate all the work here, so the videos, so if they were a little slow, I apologize. But I just want to thank everyone for coming and everyone for being a part of this. This has been my passion, my love, since I moved to New York in 2008, and it's been an incredible ride. And I've worked with a lot of different people who have inspired me and who continue to inspire me. And I love that I've gone through so many different opportunities to work with so many talented people. And I want to thank my board, and I want to thank all the instructors who've worked with me, especially big hug to Annie, because Annie was with me when I was just starting, and now she's seeing a difference and came back again. So it's really special to have her back with me again. I wanted to take this opportunity to actually tell my story too, and the reasons why I started the whole process and started Crossover Yoga Project, because it's been a learning process for me, and I've really noticed what's happened, and I've actually kind of grown with the organization myself. So to start off, when I was a child, between ages of 10 and 12, I was sexually abused by my uncle. It's a big word to say. It's hard for me to say it. I didn't say it for quite some time. But it all kind of started when I started the work when I met my friend Katie Hoskins out in California. And she had this amazing training that she offered called Promises for Families. It's no longer around, but what she did is she brought children whose parents were incarcerated this experience of an outdoor learning and leadership program. And she fully funded her summer camp. So she asked me to come and teach for her. And I was like, totally, I'd love to do that. And for a week, I was with her in Sweetwater, Texas, with a group of young girls to do mindfulness and creative art. And then after that week, I came back to New York, and she emailed me and said, I got an email from a grandmother of one of the girls that you worked with. And so I opened the email, and what it said was, I have to let you know about how amazed I am with the work that you do at your camp. My granddaughter and I frequently visit the pool, but she never goes past her waist. She told me she's always afraid of the water. When she came back from camp, she dove right in, touched the bottom, and popped up to the surface laughing and smiling. And I looked at her and astonished, and I said, how did you do that? And she said, I just remember Miss Alicia's meditation, and I wasn't afraid anymore. So when I heard that, and also hearing everyone's stories that you shared tonight, Taylor, Marissa, Ariana, who I've worked with so closely, and all of the recordings that were here, this is what started my life. This is what kind of shook me and keeps me going. And then this is what started CYP, Crossover Yoga Project. So I took a lot of different teachings. I did teacher trainings. I expanded my resources, traveled and got my master's degree in African art. And then I started developing this curriculum of yoga, mindfulness, and art. And as I evolved, I continued to build these resources and build a foundation to help me navigate life's challenges. And then I got married, had my first beautiful child, my baby girl, Alicia. But after it, I had postpartum depression. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to handle it because it wasn't a thing. It wasn't written about. We didn't have our phones. We can find out everything like these kids do nowadays. So I really didn't know about it. And it really pulled me deep. And I went into these swirling rafts of uncontrolled anger. And then one night in the middle of this fight I had with my husband, he's like, "What's your problem?" And I'm like, "Joey raped me." And it was the first time I actually said it. And he kind of almost fell over, like physically fell back. And he said he was sorry and didn't know how to handle it. And I didn't realize that I buried these for so long. And I didn't understand the connection. And that's why with CYP, I started to understand that. It started to give me these paths because what I was teaching is what was happening to me. So I was able to really, really kind of break it down. And it's one of the hardest lessons that I've ever learned. Because, it challenges everything, your behavior, your marriage, your relationships, everything. And even when people would talk to you, when you go to therapy, and the therapist would ask me, have you talked to anyone about this? Have you talked to your parents about this? And I did. I said I talked to my mom about it. And the therapist said, "So what did she say?" And she goes, "Oh, I just want to know if you're getting therapy." And the therapist just kept looking at me, asking me that same question over and over again. I didn't get it. I didn't get it because I was so numb to how to respond because I didn't talk about it for 20 years. So when I finally, figured this out, I was like, this is it. This is what I need to do. It was like that moment I realized, that I, why didn't I get that support? Why didn't my mom reach out and hug me? Why didn't she say she was sorry? Why didn't anything happen? And at that time, I just didn't know. I didn't know at all. And it struck me when my daughter's namesake in a class said the same thing. She was, I was telling her how wonderful she was and beautiful she was. And she told me, she goes, my mom always tells me I'm ugly and I'm worthless. And then I listened to her and she was saying some of the same stuff that I had went through. And I realized I didn't have that when I was a kid. I didn't have someone to tell me how strong I was. I didn't have the support when I needed it the most. And I have to tell everyone, my mom is amazing. She's not a bad person at all. She's the strongest person I've ever known. But I see myself repeating the pattern of being strong, holding it in, not trying to let others help me, not trying to work through it, because that's how we function. And this is one of the biggest battles that we have just in life, because this is our norm. This is what we do. This is how we work through stuff. We hold it in, we're stronger, we don't need anything else. But if we start to take apart those pieces and we start to resolve these conflicts, we don't come up with these ideas of I'm not worthy, or I can't do it, or I'll never be able to do anything. But this is what pushes me. This is what drives me. When I see Ariana, all right, I'll never forget that you were the first person to tell me I want to do the video because I thought you hated me. But it was, it makes me invest everything, my heart, my soul, everything, because I know every single girl, every single boy, every single man, woman that I work with or I see, they have good inside, because we're all born with it. It's what happens around us and the systems that uphold it that shape them in a way they have to survive, in a way that they know how to survive because of what's around them. It depends on where you come from. We hear that all the time, but it really, really does. So I'm just going to just kind of ask every one of you right now, if it's okay, I invite you to just kind of softly focus on something or close your eyes and to think back to a time when you've been helped, supported. And did that make you feel strong? What did it do for you? How did that change the way that you saw yourself? How you perceive situations in front of you? And did it change who you are right now? Just take a moment to notice and think about that. And bring yourself back when you're ready. So this is a question that I ask myself all the time. If I had the support, how would it change my life? How would I be different? What would I have done? One thing I did, it's like my colleague Annie, we went back to school, right, Annie? We got our MSWs. So I'm also a social worker with the second degree. But it's also the reason I keep doing this project. I keep finding ways to improve myself, to bring these services, to help, to serve, to evolve, and really try to really just kind of stay abreast of what's out there, but also know that if what I offer isn't accepted, it's okay. People are going to take what they need when they need it. And I'm just going to continue to do this and watch each one of them sparkle. And every time I see them, I want to just say thank you, especially when they show up for class, especially when they keep supporting me. And it's such a beautiful thing. So I cannot thank everyone that's here, all the people I've worked with, the people who've supported me in all different ways, because this is my heart and my soul. So I thank every single one of you for being here tonight. I think I just thank you all. I just don't know what else to say. So I just want to actually kind of close up with another video that was created just to show you a little bit more about how we close the classes, because if you can see through each part, it's kind of like a little ritual. It's a huge process from beginning to end. And the classes, when we do the full curriculum, it's 2 hours long. I did a class the other evening at Abbott House, a group home, and I was with the class for 2 hours and 45 minutes because the people were so in and so open. So I'm going to end with this last piece. If I can share my screen so you can see how I've been just a little slow. So give me 1 second. Closing ritual. CYP's curriculum is an intervention that provides a way to cope, skills vital for future development, and improved health outcomes. Demonstrated positive effects includes improved self-regulation and other emotional development, improved neurological and physical health, and healthier relationships and practices. CYP provides tools to make healthy choices and change. The resources work towards guiding trauma survivors to reclaim their voices and offer self-compassion, tools of empathy, and how they can address implicit bias, cultural differences, and understanding the weight of systemic oppression on their daily lives. The yoga scripture Bhagavad Gita states that you have a right to the action itself, but not to its fruits. This is one of life's universal truths. If you work for recognition, you'll never get the real pleasure from what you're doing. CYP classes offer the space to explore authenticity, respect, a place to be the victor of their own stories, and a space to be heard. CYP provides the resources and setting the stage for them to make the true transformation of themselves, which can only come from their own choice to change. So you can see I was a little jumbled because I forgot to show you the art part. So I'm going to make you sit for one more video if it's okay. This is the part that happens so after the art, so it's before the closing. The art, last part.
Closing ritual. Creative art expression. CYP's I Believe in Me curriculum was created in collaboration with licensed art therapists to help improve cognitive and sensory motor functions, foster self-esteem, self-awareness, and promote insight. According to the American Art Therapies Association, art therapy uses kinesthetic, sensory, perceptual, and other methods to elicit nonverbal expressions and circumvent the limitations of the spoken or written word. Art helps cultivate emotional resilience, enhance social skills, and provides a creative means to reduce and resolve conflicts, distress, and advance societal and ecological change. Traumatic memory is viscerally stored. Art is like a vehicle and allows the person who is suffering from trauma to choose what they create, how they create it, and release the aspects of the trauma at their own pace. In doing this, they're able to put a hold on being overwhelmed. Connecting through art might be a more immediate way to release some of the aspects of trauma, titrated at their own pace, being able to place it in certain spaces and in certain timing, and putting it into the past as a memory. Traumatic memories can be stored into the autobiographical memory instead of into the fear center, which is what makes people easily overwhelmed and challenging to heal. So when memories are no longer trapped in the fear center of the brain, it lessens their emotional content. People are not triggered as often, and it also helps reduce the symptoms of PTSD. This is why the importance of using art as an innovation combined with yoga and mindfulness has helped CYP be so successful in working with all of their participants.
Thank you for that. Annie, can you close us out?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Alicia, for founding this organization and for sharing your story. Thanks to everyone who presented, shared their artwork, shared their stories. We're so grateful to all of you, and it's been amazing to see the amount of resilience in this space this evening. So thank you to those who bought tickets, to everyone who donated and participated in the auction. Thank you to our sponsors, the Westchester County Bank, the Pro Bono Partnership, Dragonfly Wellness Center, Everyday Being, and Hit a Home Run Against Drugs. You can follow us on social media, like the Crossover Yoga Project on Facebook, and follow the Crossover Yoga Project on Instagram. We have a couple of events coming up in recent weeks, so we invite you to check it out if you haven't already. Thank you again to everyone for being here. It's really been a pleasure. I hope you all have a wonderful evening and survive the rest of 2020. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And Mariah is going to open up and talk about who is winning some of the events. So Mariah, take it away.
Hey everybody, I'm going to turn on my camera in just a moment. I'm pulling up the winners. Here we go. All right. So, here we go. Hi everyone. So, our first winner, we had 4 bids on the Start and End Your Day in Ossining, and our winner is Dana Levenberg. I'm gonna do snaps if that's okay. Awesome. Next, we have, the winner of the Mulberry Street Piper. Now, everyone, this bag, I feel like this bag was just a really hot ticket. So congratulations, I'll say, to Sarah Richards. The Mulberry Street Kate Spade purse, that is yours. Fabulous. If anyone wants to mic those snaps, you can join me. Next up, we've got Different Shades of Beauty, which was just won by Kanika Young. Excellent.
I'm going to give dollar amounts.
Yeah, come on in. Let's do it.
Everybody on mute.
Just for the snaps, just for the snaps. Next, we've got Start Feeling Your Best Self. We've got $60 bid on this item. Ooh, we have actually a couple of those. So we're gonna reach out to you, to y'all. But Sarah Richards has won as well the Start Feeling Your Best Self item here. There we go. Next, we've got libations at XO Local Wine Shops. This is won by Carrie King. Congrats, congrats. And next up, we're almost to the 10th item. So this is the top 10. We've got the Lotus Tattoo. Actually, we had several purchasers of the Lotus Tattoo, I believe. Is that how it worked? Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I think the final person to bid was Sandra Nagler, so I want to thank you and thank everyone for getting that and reaching out. Marissa was phenomenal. Ms. Marissa Jones. Next, we've got Mountain Express, which was won by Sarah Knox. Congrats, congrats.
Is that a product or a painting?
Oh, yeah. It's an experience. It's an experience. Next to last, we've got In Solidarity We Rise, and let's just say Boy with Glasses, both won by Marie Price. So thank you all so much for everything you do. Thank you for being here. This was amazing.
Elmore James.
You got it all? Thanks, Mariah. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thanks for that little ride. Appreciate it. So thank you. So we'll contact all the bidders separately, and we'll have little pickups, and we'll go from there. Thank you again so much, everyone. Have an awesome night. And thank you, my instructors. Woohoo! Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.